Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio, and welcome to my kit build of the week. We have the new Crimson Guitars multi-scale kit that was an uncut kit, i.e. last week it was a rectangular body, and well, I shaped it, at least externally. Welcome to a fresh, brand new build. What happened to the old build? Nothing. Burn it. Haha, yay! This week I am going to be adding in all of these carves. I'm going to be changing the wasting of it. I want to, on the spindle sander, sand an angle in at the back to make it all smaller, and I might even do some carving on the belly because I have a belly, and we may well get to the headstock. While this is a kit guitar, there are a multitude of things that can be done with it. Haha! We've got a new laser cutter. Now, the carving of all of these beautiful shapes is going to take some time, and well, there are many tools that could be used. Shinto saw rasp is one, and possibly my favorite. Various rasps, Iwasaki files. I'm thinking about carving the back using this, generally a chairmaker's tool, and standard spoke shave where it would allow. And then on top of that, of course, a hand plane. Or two. Or three. I have a weakness. Fight me. I could use an angle grinder with a flap disc or a carving device on it, and that would be absolutely valid, but very loud. I'm not in the mood for loud today. At this point, I'm not entirely sure in this section whether I'm going to carve all the way through the sycamore into the Sapele. I'm going to do that on the rest of the guitar and then see how these sections look later. I'm trying to imagine what the cutaway will look like when I go through into the Sapele. Not unattractive. Now, the trick here is to carve up to the line on your top first, and then once you've decided where you're going to go, carve that second shape in and bring the two to meet at the angle that works out being there. You always start with coarser rasps or the Japanese saw rasp on its coarse edge, and I tend to, where possible, end on the Iwasaki file, which gives a much more fine cut. It's an amazing tool. Essentially, it's got thousands of little plane teeth, and when cutting with the grain, it gives an incredible finish, quite rapidly. Now, I mentioned cutting with the grain, and here is a perfect example. You can see that the grain is going in that direction. In other words, if we were to cut up that way, we'd be going into the end of the grain of that top, and thus run the risk of chipping it out. If we go from this side, you're going with those ends, and it's going to be nice and easy and smooth. So with this carve, I'm going to start probably with a spoke shave, and I'm going to go with the grain. It's important to not allow yourself to be totally tied into a design and a shape and a carve, etc., until you're actually doing it, because at least the way I work, seeing it, you get different ideas and stuff changes. Out with the pencil. I'm not sure. I could carry it that way. I could reduce that and carry on that stepped system, which was the original plan, but that would mess up the line. Come look. So I can carry that line on through, which would be interesting. Then my cutaway is here, because I want to carry that cutaway design element through. So chops there. I don't know. What do you think? I'm just going to go for it. So that's a double facet now, or I joined it and we've got a step here, which we already have back here and back here as well. So we just do that. Yes, that was the correct thing to do. I am very happy with this. Voila. Now, that step is far away. In fact, even playing up here, where you don't play, I'm not going to catch myself on it. I'll sand the corners over anyway. That is quite comfy. The question is, do I carve into these now and scoop them up and give myself something even more shapely, or do I like the fairly flat facets? I do not know. I like not knowing. Life is an adventure. Too fat. I don't know, because that would go, then that line would follow to there. I think that might work. I'm very happy with this. So essentially what we have here is something that is the center of everything, that bevel there, and then everything moves forward. It's a drop down, then a drop down, and going up towards the end, and getting smaller the whole way. We've got a drop down there, or a chop out, or a cut out, or whatever you want, and then it goes smaller from there. And the guitar itself has got forward momentum, it's going smaller towards the headstock, and everything subtly is pointing in one direction. I think we need to go and listen to One Direction now, don't we? Or not. Okay, that was terrible. Flame me in the comments below, please. Okay, there's a little bit to do from here, i.e. the most important place. That carve has got a flat edge. It doesn't look quite right, so I'll fix that, and then we will move on to whatever is coming on next. I need a cup of coffee, to be honest. Yeah, definitely coffee. A lot of people will probably be questioning my decision here to use hand tools. I'm using planes, I'm using rasps and files. I will be using sandpaper and maybe scrapers moving forward, and hand planes and spoke shaves, and all of these things are fantastic. And one of the reasons, in my opinion, that they are fantastic is that it allows you a certain amount of time to think. There is the old, we have contact with what you're doing when you're the person who's there physically guiding the blade and making sure that it doesn't dig in or go against the grain or something. I feel the same contact with my router when I'm using my router. So I don't necessarily think that that is particularly the case. But if you are, in this case, using an angle grinder with a carving disc, everything is over so much more quickly. And I have the luxury now that I'm building this for myself. I'm not building this guitar for a customer. I'm not building it for any reason other than the fact that I want to build it. My only deadline is for the next video, and to make sure that the editor has enough time to edit it, which is not always the case. But it doesn't matter what I do, and quite frankly, if I was building this for a customer, one, we'd have fleshed the design out 100% before the build. And yes, I could then use a power tool, and I'd wear dust masks and goggles and all of that jazz to protect myself while I'm working. And I could have done most of these carves, apart from the sharp angles where those cutouts are. I could have done most of that with the machine and be done inside of less than 10 minutes. As it is, this has taken an hour or so, and I am feeling so much more calm and relaxed and in touch with this guitar. Leave me know in the comments below. What would you do? Power tool or hand tool, if you had the choice? That being said, let's go make some noise. who needs square edges anyway? What good are they? Anyway, I feel before I go and sand through this, I should probably film it and prove that I meant to do it and that it's not a mistake. I'm incredibly happy with how this is turning out. Essentially everything is a little bit smaller. All of the edges are over. And it's gonna look freaking awesome. Look at that. I'm gonna do on the back plate what I normally do on the Descendants, etc. And that is I'm gonna have a back plate that just chops off and goes over the edge. And that will allow me to mess around with the cavity as well. Remember that this is the first prototype of our new uncut fan fret kit. It is available with various different options for control cavity, up to and including no control cavity, and also 7-string or 8-string. And if the option you want isn't actually on the listing for any of our kit guitars at crimsonguitars.com, drop us an email. We customize these things for people all the time. I don't want to save this, so that doesn't really matter. I can just rip it out somehow. There we go. Whoa! Ha! It's Christmas. It ships with a nut. I had no idea. Oh, look at that. They've cut the nut. I should know this, it is my company. They've cut the nut, and it is slanted and correct and done and awesome. Let's not lose that. I've just had an interesting idea, actually. It may be fun. It may be fun to have maybe not. Leave that unrouted and have the back plate so it slides in, maybe even in a little dovetail. Amusingly, that's called a sliding dovetail. I think we're going to do that. Maybe up to here, and then it would be obvious that you've got your dovetail up to there. That would be pretty funky. So we have the dovetail. Probably that deep. And it slides in. We've got another dovetail at the end there, which locks it in on 3 sides. And frankly, a single screw, or maybe even just some magnets, will hold this thing in permanently. Well, not permanently at all, but hold it in place when you need it. This is quite cool. Well, hey. I think a single screw. Let's hear it for sliding dovetails, everybody. Okay, I am gonna go and finish the sanding. Yes, let's do that. Through using several angles on the sander there, I have achieved sublime beauty. Or maybe I'm just tired. I was not sure if I wanted to cut a sort of a belly carve in here. And I ended up doing the next best thing. So we have, on these two sections, two angles going into each other. Obviously I'll tidy it up a little bit. And then again, where one needs even more access and control, we have a couple of angles here. Now, from the front, nobody knows we've done this. From the back, we've actually removed quite a significant amount of material, significant amount of weight, and we've made a very, very attractive instrument. Well, we're on the way. I know why more people don't do this sort of thing in a guitar. It's not the sort of thing that one can do easily with a pin router or a CNC or something like that. I wish I could see more though. Okay, at this stage, I am going to call it a day. The rule for me building two instruments at a time is that the kit build is done one day, one video. I could spend another half hour or so and finalize my headstock, but I'm not gonna do that. I have had a sublime hour or so with hand tools and unfortunately a lot of phone calls and all that jazz. And then an hour or so with sander and dust and all that jazz, and frankly, one is fantastic and one makes me want to go and just stop. So I'm going to do that. Let me know what you think of the series. Let me know what you think of the guitar so far. And yeah, next week I am finishing the body. I am making a sliding dovetail control cavity cover. Flame maple or ebony? Matching the top or matching the fretboard? Let me know in the comments below. And I will do that. I will fully sand the instrument, although I'm not going to put you through watching all of that. And I will maybe mess with color or maybe move on to the neck. We shall see. What would you like to see next? Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, hit that notification button. All of these things that I say so often, it really makes a difference. And yeah, see you next week. Goodbye. It really is. Machines feel like work. Hand tools don't, to me at least.